Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to this Smrt streaming hour live with me, Julia. Nice to see you all in the chat. 3 o'clock here in Vancouver. I hope you are all doing very well. I'm great. Good week so far. We're on only day 2, but everything's going well. Hello, Gertie. Hello, Fadil and Lolly. Hello, Emmy. Nice to see you guys. Fatai Tom, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Saeed, hello. Awesome. We've got a good crew in the chat. Raphael, hello. I hope it's not too late for you guys, but time is time, and I'm sure it is very late for some of you. So thank you for being here. Hi, Vladimir. Hello. Hi from Russia. Awesome. Hi, Yvonne. So how was your weekend, everyone? Did you guys have a nice weekend? This past weekend? What are some activities that you guys did? Hi, Ali. Oh, good, Fadil. I'm happy you like Smrt English. That's awesome. Hi, Gaurav. Yeah, so tell me some activities you guys got up to on the weekend. What are some things you guys did? What did I do? I went for a little walk next to Capilano River in Vancouver, North Vancouver. That was nice. And what else? I went for a little motorcycle ride. I bought a new book, so I went to a coffee shop, did some reading. Yeah, it was a very nice weekend. The rain has come in Vancouver, so it's a little bit rainy, but we do need the rain, so can't complain too much. But let's see. Oh, Fadil, that's awesome. You're an English teacher too. That's great. Good. And Percy from Peru, that's awesome. Hi, welcome. Sama, hello. So let's see. Fatai Tam, you cleaned up your house, did some gardening. That's productive. That's cool. Nairana, you stayed at home, studied some subject. That's good. That's also productive. Learning English as usual, Emmy. Vladimir, I have an old Yamaha Radian. It's 1986, 600 cc. It's an oldie, but very reliable and fun to rip around the city for sure. Ah, good. You make English videos. We are on the same page, definitely. It's a very fun profession, isn't it? Good. Well, Nawar, you had to work, so you couldn't sleep enough. Hopefully you can catch up this week then. All right, well, welcome. This is stream 18 with me. We'll have 1 hour together online here. We're going to talk about the third verb pattern going off what we've been doing for the last 2 weeks, and that's with gerunds and infinitives. Hey, Pillar. Nice to see you in the chat. Oh, Gertie, you celebrated an anniversary with friends. Anniversary parties are good. It's one of my good friends' first year anniversary today, too, actually. Awesome. Hello, Fatima Zara. Beautiful name. Hello. Michaeli, welcome. And Maya, awesome. So nice to see so many familiar names. If you are new to the chat, please feel welcome. Feel free to participate, ask questions, give examples, and yeah, let's keep it positive and have a good time. All right, we'll begin. So, getting onto my Smrt page. Oh, Hevar, I hope I'm saying that all right. Hugh Hevar, you're new from Kurdistan. That's great. Welcome. Hello, Boylaya Nelson. Hi. I'm so sorry if I ever mispronounce any of your names. It's important to me to say names correctly, but it's very difficult if you're not here to correct me. So I'm so sorry if I don't say the names very well. Hi, Jagan. I'm great. Very good. Well, thanks. Thanks for the nice compliment. All right, we are going to begin. So, verb patterns number 3. As always, we'll have a document making examples from you guys and myself, And then at the end of the stream, I will put the document into the chat for you guys, okay? So we're talking about verb patterns number 3 today, and that is simply using verb 1 with object before the infinitive, to and a base verb, okay? So let's take a look at this example. I'd love it to stop raining one of these days, okay? This is something I might say in a few weeks from now because we're getting into rainy season in Vancouver. So here we have a contraction, which is would, right? I would love it to stop raining. It is our object here, and it's very important because if I say I would love to stop raining one of these days, this would mean that I am raining, and me as a human, I can't rain, right? So it's impossible to say I'd love to stop raining. We must have the object here, so it's very important, okay? All right, moving on to see the object here. So we've got to see the pattern in writing, here it is. Verb, which I often refer to as verb 1. Remember that many verbs, they can be followed by infinitive. Many verbs can be followed by gerunds, verb ing. Some verbs can be followed by both. And as we talked about last week, some verbs can be followed by both, but the meaning will change. For example, remember, forget, stop, and try. The meaning will change depending on the pattern that you use, okay? So in this third pattern, we are going to talk about using an object, a person or thing, between the verb and the infinitive, okay? Nawar, oh, it's okay. I understand. Thank you for coming for a little bit. Maybe you can catch up after, and I will put the document at the end of the chat so you can always see that if you watch through after, okay? Definitely sleep is very important. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples with the verb and the object and the infinitive. Here we could say, the man begged me to give him money. Okay, so me is the person who is receiving the action. The man is begging me to give him money, okay? And here we have the teacher allowed the student to go to the washroom, okay? So the student is receiving the permission to do the action, the infinitive action, to go to the washroom. With the verb allow and infinitive, we need to have an object to receive the permission, okay? And here, another example sentence, let's invite George to come with us. If you remove the object George from the sentence doesn't really make sense here. Let's invite to come with us. If you say that, the person you're talking to is going to say, who? Let's invite who to come with us? Who are you talking about? Okay, so verbs like invite and allow, these actions need somebody to receive them, okay? So we're not going to talk about every single verb that this pattern is possible with. We're going to focus on a few, okay? So we're going to focus on these verbs here. Advise, allow, invite, order, remind, and tell, okay? So all of these actions, it's one person advising another person to do something, or it's one person allowing another person to do something. It's one person inviting another person to do something, okay, etc., etc. So what we're going to do is look at the Smrt examples and then think of our own examples, okay? So here is a good sentence. My father advised me to travel for a year before starting university. Okay, so the advice that the father is giving is going specifically to me in this sentence. Okay, and Yes, yes. Nawar, that's correct. Yeah, that is definitely correct. It can be used as a transitive verb and an intransitive verb, for sure. So next example here. Mom, could you tell my sister to be quiet? Okay, so you need somebody to receive the message, right? So my sister is receiving the message to be quiet. And finally, would you please remind me to call Jeff? So you're asking someone for a reminder, and me, the object, is going to receive the reminder to do this action, to call. Okay. Fatatam, my friend invited me to go to their party is a great sentence. And Sama, that's great. That's really good. So this will be extra help for you to review what you are already learning. Perfect. Good sentence, Fatatam. Please make sure to tell him to stop at the stop sign. Gertie, I invited Kent to come to Dominican Republic in Kent's class. Good, Gertie. So yeah, you could say, I invited Kent to come to the Dominican Republic during his last class. Would be a little bit easier to understand. So, Nairana, let's see. Yeah, so we're going to get to that very soon. That's a great point, and we will get to that in the next point. So just be a little patient, and I'll talk about that, okay? I'm seeing really good examples. I'm going to go to our document and put some of those here for you guys. So you know you'll have this document at the end. Let me just make this bigger. 14. Okay, so I want specific examples from you guys to give me some specific examples with these verbs. My teacher ordered me to work on my homework, or Lolly, my teacher ordered. We would use ed like past, the message is over. My teacher ordered me to do my homework. Good. Saeed, the difference between advise and advice, it's not a big difference. It's the part of speech. Advise is an action. It's a verb. Advice is a noun. Okay? And Vladimir, sure. I love having passengers. I take people all the time. Emmy, my friend told me a secret about her. It's a good sentence, but you're not using the verb pattern that we're talking about, but it's a good sentence. And Fatatam, my mom does not allow me to get home late. Instead of get, it might be better to use the verb come. My mom does not allow me to come home late. Okay, good. So let's see. Can we think of an example with advise specifically here, Gertie? My daughter advised me to take care of her. Of her Yorkie. Nice. That's a good sentence. Yeah. Maybe you would change or add, my daughter advised me. We could add here a clause on how to take care of her Yorkie. Okay? Because if you say my daughter advised me to take care of her Yorkie, it's like saying you should take care of my Yorkie. But if she's giving you advice on how to take care of the dog, she would be saying, okay, you can feed him this twice a day. You can take him for a walk here. He loves this. He doesn't like this. That kind of thing. And Noir, you have another good sentence. I advised my sister, where was it? My little sister to study English. Good, 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 good. And hopefully she takes your advice. Yeah. He advised me to spend more time with my friends. Vladimir, good sentence. Good, good. In order to get there early, you allowed to have my car. Okay, in order to get there early, I will allow you to take my car. Oops. Kind of changed your sentence a little bit there, Saeed, with the pronouns here. In order to get there early, I will allow you to take my car, as if you're speaking to somebody. That's good. Let's see more examples. Hi, Imad. Pillar, that's good, that's good. Not using an object in your sentence, but it's a good sentence. Children are not allowed, ED, to watch TV after 10 p.m. Good sentence, good. Okay, so we're talking about these verbs. Order, in English, order, it's not used all the time. It's a very strong verb, usually reserved for serious situations, and also like people of authority, like police officers, judges, border guards, that kind of thing. So we need to make sure our examples are kind of like serious situations. For example, the judge ordered the criminal to stop speaking in court, for example. Nawar, that's a good sentence as well. Using a negative, allow. My friend doesn't allow me to smoke in his house. At his house is good too. Both prepositions work. Good. Vladimir, I was reminded to attend to my grandmother. That's a good sentence, but again, it doesn't have an object. So with these examples, I'll wait only to write examples with objects. Lolly, my teacher doesn't allow me to drink beer in his class. Yeah. Don't forget my teacher agrees with doesn't instead of don't. Okay. Let's see, getting a lot of examples. What about tell? Tell is more common. It's similar to order, but it's much more common. So people can tell people to do things all the time. That's good, Jacqueline. You're using order in a different way, in a phrase, in order to, but it's a good sentence. Saeed, I order you to be there on time, we say. I order you to be there on time. Good, Maya, good example. That's a person of authority. The coast, you could say police. It depends where you are, what you referred. We usually say here Coast Guards. The Coast Guards ordered us not to go swimming. That's a great sentence. Nairana, the judge ordered me not to drink and drive. Right? Good, Vladimir, example here. I told him to do the job. Good. Kefi, my wife doesn't, not don't, my wife doesn't allow, because of doesn't, it's base verb. My wife doesn't allow, if you're going to use ing, there's no to, just smoking in the room. Okay, good. We have examples for advise, allow, order, tell. What about invite? Michaeli, that's a good sentence. If you're going to use this verb pattern, then you would use, you would say, he told me to write the, he told me that I need to write the essay. Okay, he told me to write the essay by Friday, we would say. If your sentence is good, it's just not using the verb pattern. He told me that I had to. write the essay by Friday, we say. Okay, good, good, good. My older sister told me to drive with caution. Okay, let's put this here. My older sister told me to drive her car with, we just say with caution, okay? With caution. Precaution is when you do something before. So you take caution before you do something, like you prepare, take precaution. And invite, let's get some examples here. Invite, and my friend invited me to go to the cinema. That's a good sentence. My friend invited me to go to the cinema. Awesome. And nice, Lolly. My best friend invited me to come to his wedding. Great. That's exciting if it's real. Saeed, that's a good sentence. It's more of like an expression. That reminds me to go shopping. Okay, that reminds me I need to go shopping. That reminds me is like an expression when something reminds you to do something. That's a good sentence, Michaeli. Yeah, for sure. Thomas, I was invited to go to the party by my friend. That's good. Passive sentence. Yeah. Good. Okay. Manifij. You're funny. You're a joker, aren't you? Julia invited me to visit her in Canada. Sure. Come visit me at Canadian College of English Language if you want to. You can take a class while you're here. Jacqueline, she invited me to go watching that movie. She invited me to go watch that movie. To go watch, not watching. And remind, when somebody says, don't forget. Okay? So, for example, if I tell you guys, don't forget to brush your teeth. How would you report that? If I say to you, don't forget to brush your teeth. How would you report that if I say that to you? Don't forget to brush your teeth. And that's a good sentence. I'll add it there, Lolly. Every day my father reminds, with an S, me to do my homework. Awesome. Good, Menifi, you can say that. That's like asking for a reminder. Try to remind me to go to the doctor, please. Good, asking for a reminder. So yeah, Lolly, if I said don't forget to brush your teeth, it would be Julia reminded us to brush our teeth. Good. Long, right on. Well, hello into your cell phone. Better than nothing, right? Listening is good practice for sure. Gertie, my yoga teacher reminded me to begin previous warmment. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Maybe my yoga teacher reminded me to begin from the previous class. I'm not quite sure. Okay, so those are great examples, and you've got them on the document. I'm going to go back to Smrt here. So Nayarana, you had a question earlier about when using allow with ing. So this is possible. We're going to go down in Smrt here. We've got two possibilities with allow and advise. Okay, allow and advise, both of these verbs can be used with this pattern, or it can be used with only gerunds, okay? So there's a little difference, and the only difference is kind of how general your statement is or your specific audience, who that is, okay? So look at these differences. Our teacher allows eating in class. Okay, so we have our verb allow and ing. So no to, just gerund, ing. So this is kind of like a general statement. Everyone is allowed to eat in that teacher's class. It's not, their permission is not going to anyone in particular. Next sentence, our teacher allows us to eat in class. Now you're simply being a little more specific about who is receiving the permission. Okay, so not a big difference there. Same thing with giving advice. If you're giving advice, you could say, I don't advise visiting there in winter. It's much nicer in the spring. So you have your verb advise with gerund, ing. And again, this is more general advice to whoever wants to take the advice. Whereas here, I don't advise you to visit there in winter. It's much nicer in spring. This advice is going to somebody specifically. Okay. Nope, Nayarana, no, you can use a real person's name. He advised Jack to go home. Or he advised Susanna to eat her vegetables. Definitely can be a real person's name, for sure. For sure. And Manifi, if you're going to use us, then it's not ing, it would be infinitive. Julia allows us to play games every day. Okay, so be careful with that. Back to the document. In the next section on the document, we have the difference here. Advise or allow with object, okay, that means infinitive will be used. So permission or advice going to a specific person. Allow advice plus gerund, okay, so no object, no object. Exactly, Emmy. Don't add object with gerund, and this is speaking more generally about the permission or advice given. Okay, so let's do some examples here. Let's see here. The mother allowed her son to eat the candy. Okay, so that's specific, her son. If I say, the mother allows eating candy. Oops. I'm going to change it to the present simple and not the past. Well, I could have the present here because we're talking about everyday, generally speaking, habit. Okay, so it doesn't have to be past. This would be just generally speaking, this is her mother, her parenting ways. Okay, let's see here. Mustafa. Lolly, I don't advise you not going to Canada in winter. I don't advise you. So you would say, because you have the object, right? So you want to say, I don't advise you not to go to Canada in winter. And Kefi, he reminds me to pray. Remember, if you have object, you need to have infinitive, not verb ing. Okay. So let's see here. I'm seeing Saeed. Yeah, you can do that, Saeed, for sure. I advise, a negative gerund, I advise not eating in the class. Maybe we could add room in the classroom. I advise not eating in the classroom. Gina, hello. Nice to see you again. Busy times, eh? Well, I'm glad you caught us here for stream number 18. Busy is good, but I'm happy to see you in the chat again. Right on. Michaeli, it's not allowed using mobile phones in the bank. I would change your sentence a little bit and use gerund as subject and say, using mobile phones is not allowed in the bank. I think that's a little bit of a better way of saying it. Teachers don't, okay, good. Teachers don't allow teaching during exams. During is a better word to use, during exams. And Manifi, that's good, you're having an object here. My sister allows me to go swimming. Awesome. Good. So remember, when you include an object, you use infinitive, and basically the permission or the advice that you're giving is a more specific. Hopefully everyone can sort of see the difference here. Okay. 2 plus ing is not possible. No, Vladimir, that's not possible. Good question, not possible. Gustava, my dad advises me to attend English lessons. Good sentence. Noir, I wish I had someone advising me to study English earlier. That's a great sentence. Yeah, I wish the same for my my language skills. I wish I was pushed harder to improve my German skills earlier in life, for sure. Let's see here. Teachers, so if you're speaking generally, Emmy, we don't need the teachers. We just say teachers. That's good, and that's true, yeah. Teachers, and we use the plural form, don't allow cheating on exams. Good. Okay. So Saeed, you have a question. I advise not eating in the class, and I don't advise to eat. If you're going to use to eat, you would use an object. For example, I advise you, and the action is about the eating, so it would be a negative infinitive. I advise you not to eat. I advise you not to eat. Instead of I don't advise, I advise you not to eat. And Pillar, good example for this with an object. My doctor, sorry, missed it. My doctor, where was that? Advised me to take my medicine, or the medicine is fine. Yep, it's good. Every morning. Good. So you have your verb, you have your object, and you have to take. Nairana, yes, objects are nouns, pronouns, nouns. Okay. And Super Saiyan, hello, welcome. Gaurav, there are many rules. It depends on the context of the sentence. In the last two streams before this one, we talked about different places to use gerunds. You can use them in subject position, you can use them after prepositions, and you can use them after verbs, okay? And then infinitive, we talked about using them after verbs. However, they can be used in different ways. It gets more and more complex. So it's best to start with a basic understanding and work your way up to the more complex situations, yeah. Minifi, I always advise my students, it might be I advise my students always not to be late. It's fine to say that, or you could simply say, I always advise my students not to be late. Okay, that's good. You guys have got some good examples. And moving back to Smrt, I'm going to talk about one more thing, and we can, if we have time, try some examples. With or without objects. Okay, so let's talk about a few verbs here. Ask, expect, need, want, and would like. So you have the option here with infinitives. You can use them with objects or without objects. Okay? Pillar, dogs are allowed to walk in the park. That's better to use the verb allow with infinitive in your sentence. Dogs are allowed to walk in the park. Because dogs can't allow the action because they're an animal. So that's why we would use to walk instead of walking. It's a little bit of a context thing where allow and ing doesn't really work. Okay. Pedro, you can't see me? I don't know. You should be able to. All right, so with these verbs, ask, expect, need, want, would like I said, you can use them with or without objects, and the difference is who's doing the action, okay? So let's go back to our document. And Manifi, maybe not. Maybe let's keep the personal questions out of it, okay? I have no idea what you would ask, so I'm going to be safe and just say let's keep it not too personal. All right, so using an object or not with these verbs, all right? So basically using an object or not using an object changes who is doing the infinitive action, okay? So for example, no object equals the person in subject position, okay, I'll underline that, subject position is doing the action, yeah. And if you do include an object, then the person in the object position is doing the action. And let's take a look at the difference. So asked, basically here, 1. My mother asked me to buy some flowers for my grandma. Okay? So this means buying flowers equals me. I'm going to buy the flowers because we are using object with infinitive. All right? If I do number 2, my mother asked to buy some flowers for my grandma. Buying flowers equals my mother. Okay. Vladimir, let's see here. You have a question. He expected me to come earlier. I was expected to come earlier. You can't use ing here. You have to use the infinitive, okay? Because in the first one, he expected me to come earlier. You are the one who needs to come earlier. And if you put you then in the subject position, then you should use, again, you should use the infinitive because you are doing the action. It's a passive. I was expected to come earlier. Okay, you are doing the action. And who's expecting you? By my boss, for example. By him. Let's see here. If we do another example, I was asked to come tomorrow. Let's see here. I was asked to come tomorrow. Jegin, good sentence. So I guess, sorry, this sort of changes it. If you're using a passive sentence, then the person in the subject position is also going to be giving the expectation. Saeed, pronunciation asked. So it's a kt at the end. Asked. Asked. Good. So let's see here. Let's do another example. 1. Oh, it's changing my sentence to 3. Whatever. Doesn't matter. We don't have to do numbers. We'll do another example though. So let's see here. Our teacher asked us to go to school tomorrow. Maybe in this case we would use come. Our teacher asked us to come to school tomorrow. So who's coming to school? Us, because we have an object. If you change that, if you remove the object, then the subject position is doing the action, okay? So let's see here. Our teacher asked us to come to school tomorrow. So us is doing the action. If you change the sentence, we asked to come to school tomorrow, then we in the subject position is doing the information, okay? So it's the same thing. Let's see here. Expect, for example, we expect to be there by 4 p.m. We equals doing the action. Okay? If we say we expect you to be there by 4 p.m., that means you equals doing the action. Okay? Can you see how that's different? If you add the object here, this is who you're referring to be there, to do the infinitive action, to be there. Okay? And then in this case, it would be we. Okay? And let's see some more examples you're giving me here. So Gina, visiting England expects me to go on London Eye. You would say I am expected to go on the London Eye when I visit England. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'm trying not to miss any comments, but it's kind of hard. There's lots of comments coming in today. If I miss anything, I'm really sorry. Mustafa, he expected that they would bring him some chocolates. So that's good. You're not using the verb pattern. If you wanted to use the verb pattern, then you would change it a little bit and say, he expected them to bring him some chocolates. Oops, spelled that wrong. Good. So them is doing the action because we're using an object. Okay. My boss asked me to do a report right now. Lolly, good, good. Let's put that back up with asked. My boss asked me to do a report right now. Good. So me is doing the action. Me equals doing. Good. Okay, and the same goes for the other verbs need, want, and would like. So for example, my friend needs me to help him move. Okay, so me equals doing the action. Whereas if we say, my friend needs to help his brother move, equals my friend is doing the action. Okay, so it depends whether or not you use an object, basically. If you're using an object before infinitive, that object is doing the infinitive action. If you remove the object, the person in the subject position is doing the infinitive action. Okay? Want, for example, Jessica wants to go see Beyonce live in concert. For example, that means that Jessica is doing the action. Okay? And I forgot to capitalize. But if I say Jessica wants Her little sister to go see Beyonce live in concert. That changes who's doing the action to her little sister. Okay. So I'm just trying to get one example for each here, and then we're going to try some. Okay, let me catch up on the chat. Nawar, I expect my friend to lend me some money. Good sentence. So that means your friend is doing the action. Fetatan, I am expected to pay the rent on time. That's good. If you are doing a passive sentence, then the subject position is doing the action even though there's no object before the infinitive. Okay? So the difference here, it would be here, the difference with the passive, I am expected to pay the rent on time, okay, by my landlord, for example. So because we are doing the passive voice, the subject position is doing the action, even though there's no object here. But if you remove the passive voice, then the rule that I'm talking about does remain. My landlord expects me to pay the rent on time. Okay, so then we have me in the position that I've been talking about before the infinitive. Okay, this one is active voice, whereas this is passive voice. Okay, so a few of you are doing some of those passive examples, which is good as well. And let's see some more. Let's go back up to Lolly. I expected you to be on time at home. That's good. If it were me, I would probably say, I expected you to be home on time. I expected you to be home on time. Good, so you would be doing the action. Pillar, I expected you to take the train at 3 p.m. That's good. You, the object's doing the action. Manifi, I expect Julia will invite us all for lunch one day. Well, I'm a terrible cook, so that's your risk. I'm not very good at cooking. Saeed, you were expected to do such a great job. Good, that's again an example with the passive voice. Yeah. Mustafa, my mom needs me to clean the garden. That's good, that's good. So me is doing the action. If you remove me, then your mom would be doing the action. My mom needs to clean the garden. Good. Pedro, yes, Beyonce, I think she's pretty good, for sure. Emma, they want me to pick. Remember, no ing. After to, no ing. Just pick. They want me to pick them up from the airport. Gina, I expect to binge watch The Good Place this weekend. Okay, that's a good sentence. You just need to change a couple things, and I'll write it on our document. It's a present because it's in the future, right? I expect to binge watch. That's where you watch something a lot. The Good Place. This week. I've not seen that show. Maybe it's good. And my mother asked me to help you. Good sentence, Kifi. That's correct. Yep. That means me, in your sentence, me is doing the action. Saeed, I want you to be with me if everything doesn't go well. Good. Yep. That's a good sentence. Hello, Russia. That's awesome. Manifi, my girlfriend wants me to propose to marry her. Yeah, we don't need to say to marry, just my girlfriend wants me to propose to her. Well, you should. She is expecting to have a baby coming this spring. Good sentence, Gina. Hello in New Zealand. Oh, nice. I really want to go to New Zealand someday. Would you like to order pizza? Good. Question form. Question form. I wanted to study geography, but my parents wanted me to study engineering. Good sentence, Nawar. Good sentence. Okay. Right on. You guys are all giving great examples. So, would like, we just needed a few more examples. My boss would like me to help with the project. Okay, so that means me doing the action. Okay, or my boss, would like to help with the project. Now your boss is going to help, so my boss. Okay, so I hope everyone can sort of see the difference here, that if you use an object or not, it changes who is doing the action, like we see in the top here. Okay, so no object, person in subject position is doing the action. Okay, and I could do unless speaking in the passive voice. And then with object, person in the object position is doing the action. Okay? Saeed, would you like to start is the correct way of saying it. Okay? Would you like starting doesn't work in the question form because you is the object, so you need to have infinitive. Would you like to start? Okay. All right. Good, Nawar, that's good. All right, so we've done with the document. I'll show you a few examples on Smrt, and we can compare the difference. If you're reporting something, for example, Angela is one person. If she says, "May I please leave?" This is an I request. She wants to do the action, so she is asking for permission. So there's no object, right? Angela asked to leave. She's going to do the action. If the quote you were reporting was Angela saying to a second person, "Simon, please leave," then we have two people now, and Simon is doing the action, so you need to use verb, object, infinitive, right? So Angela asked Simon to leave. So Simon now is doing the action. Another example, if we think we will be there at 7 p.m., no object. We expect to be there around 7 p.m. Okay? If we add another person into the situation, then we can use an object. We think you will be there around 7. So then again, you're going to use verb, object, infinitive. We expect you to be there around 7 p.m. Okay? Same thing here. If you are talking about yourself, it's necessary for me to help, then you would not use an object. I need to help. If you're talking about a different person whom it's necessary for them to help, then you would use object. I need you to help. Okay. So Sarah, the video will be up on YouTube. You can watch it when you get back. You can finish up. We've got about 6 minutes left, so we'll do some practice. But yes, for sure, come back and watch it after class if you can. Gina, it's necessary for you to help me, you would say, to help me with my English. And Kafi, we would like to go to the beach. If you're saying we, you don't need to include object us, okay? We would like to go to the beach. We is referring to us. we expect you to be there. No, oh, you just retracted that. You can use that in a different way, like we expect that you will be there. It's a different grammar structure. We wouldn't use the infinitive. Okay. Pedro, what's that 4 of 4 next to you? Next to me? I don't know. On the screen? I'm not really sure. Or behind me? I don't know. All of this technology is very kind of above my head a little bit. I'm not the best with this streaming technology. I've never used the streaming technology, so. All right, let's see here. Oh, thank you, Daniela. It's so nice of you to say. Appreciate it. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of exercises for our last 5 minutes and see if we can do this together. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller here. And you're going to try to use one of the verbs that we've been talking about. So like told, ordered, asked, reminded, and I think those were the ones in the beginning that we used. Let me double check. Using the, yes, so advise, allow, order, tell, invite, and remind. Okay, so back to our document here. Let's look at this little conversation, and I want you guys to write a sentence reporting it. So we have 2 people. You see here, Claire is the daughter, Wendy is the mother. Okay, so Wendy says, hey, Claire, eat your vegetables. And the daughter says, but I don't want to, Mommy. How could you report this with one sentence? And we would write the sentence in the box here. So I'll wait for you guys to think. One sentence reporting with the appropriate verb that we have talked about. Okay, if you want to report this little conversation between 2 people, how would you do that? One sentence. I'll wait for some answers. We could probably do a few of these. Any ideas? Chat has gone quiet. Vladimir, good. Wendy, okay, so ordered is a little strong. It's not wrong, okay, it's fine. It's personal opinion if you want to use that. But in general, in Canada anyways, I don't know, personal opinion. Told, I think, is a little more common to use. Wendy told Claire to eat her vegetables. Okay, that's good. Ordered, your sentence, Vladimir, is a good sentence grammatically. You might want to add her vegetables, but ordered is kind of strong. Imad, Wendy wanted Claire to eat her vegetables, comma, but she didn't want to. Good sentence. Manifi, her mom asked her to eat her vegetables, but Claire didn't want to. Okay, we're using past tense because we're assuming the conversation is over. Okay, and there's no please, so the verb asked is not really suitable because it's not a question. Okay. All right, let's do another one before we run out of time. Chris and Jane, 2 people. So Chris says to Jane, don't forget your bag, Jane. And she says, oh yeah, thanks, Chris. How can you report this in one sentence? Use the past simple as well, because we're imagining the conversation is over. You're welcome, Gina. My pleasure. Fatatam, good sentence, definitely. Claire's mom asked her to eat her vegetables with an S. But again, she didn't say please, so it's not really a question. So yeah, Vladimir, you could use warned. Reminded, I think, is the best verb to use. Okay? And again, this is good. Everyone is repeating not to forget, but this is really common. A lot of people do this. But don't forget is being replaced with the verb reminded. Okay? So you don't have to use the verb, or you don't have to repeat don't forget. You just want to say that Chris reminded Jane to take her bag. Okay? It's a reminder. It's a simple reminder. Hey, don't forget to take your bag. Thank you. He reminded me to take my bag. Okay? So we don't need to repeat Chris reminded Jane not to forget to take her bag. It's too many words. It's not necessary. You can delete don't forget, replace it with reminded. Okay? It's not really a suggestion. It's not really advice. It could be a warning. If it is a warning, you would actually say Chris warned Jane not to forget her bag. Yes. But again, I think that the verb reminded is the best verb to use. Okay. So we are out of time for today. So thank you all for joining. Thank you for all of your suggestions. Many, many good examples today. Again, I tried to keep up with everyone, but it was a lot today. I think a lot of more people were participating perhaps, but it was great. It was good. Good to see that. If I ever miss a comment and you want me to see your comment, just make a note and I'll go back and find it, okay? So, Juliana, thank you. I hope it's good weather there in Brazil. Pillar, thank you. See you next class. Have a great day. Thank you, thank you. I will send you the file, don't worry. Just let me clean it up a little bit and then I will put it in the chat in a moment, okay? So, many thanks. Thank you for participating. And as always, see you next week, next Tuesday, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Okay, we are actually getting into the present perfect next week. So very useful, very difficult, and good practice to come. So all the best, stay positive, keep practicing. All right, take care. See you next week.